Oh, okay.
Unemployment, chapter 27, right?
Yeah.
Great. So we're talking about unemployment. We're talking about a situation whereby individuals, they seek for employment, they are willing, they are able, they are capable, but they couldn't get a job. That's unemployment. So let's go down and see what they say. What is unemployment? Unemployed people are defined as those who want a job but cannot find work. That means they really want a job, but they couldn't find one. Unemployment is a waste of resources. If people are not working, they are not making any contribution to economic output in their country. So they are not making any contribution to economic output in their country. Therefore, that country's GDP will be lower. Unemployment will also cause hardship to those who cannot find work. Their living standards will be very low compared to most of those in work. Economists might define unemployment as those without a job but who are actively seeking work at current wage rates. So, if there's no unemployment, if there's unemployment within the economy, it means people would still living standards would be poor. They won't be able to afford basic because they don't even have a job. It is only when you have a job that you have income. So those that do not have a job will not be able to contribute economically, and they won't be able to contribute economically in terms of output, and they won't be able to even buy in terms of spending. So they are not going to be contributing. So it's a waste of resources. So they are not buying, while they are producing, they are not doing anything. So that means they are not using their potentials. That is what unemployment means. Clear? So how is unemployment measured? In 2016, Portugal had a population of just over 10 million. However, many of these people were not able to work. They were children or retired. For example, the number of people able to work was just over 5 million. But in November 2016, 549,000 of these were not in work. They were unemployed. This means they were actively seeking work, but were not able to find a job. So these are stories anyway, but we can measure the unemployment rate through the International Labour Organization, ILO. So let's go down and see. In general, anyone who carries out at least 1 hour's paid work in a week or who is temporarily away from a job is in employment. Also counted, I'm going to explain it. Also counted as in employment are people in government-supported training schemes and people who do unpaid work for their family's business. Those who are out of work but do not meet the definition of unemployment are said to be economically inactive. So we have when you are able to find a job, in as much as you spend at least 1 hour a week for a paid job, you have employment. That is what is being said. That means you are economically active. But anybody that cannot earn income, at least, is economically inactive. That is the point then. So those that are unemployed but are seeking for a job, we'll consider them as economically active because they are looking for a job. But those that are not looking for a job, that are retired or children, they are economically inactive. Is it clear? So we'll move down. Okay, the main examples of jobs.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go through it?
Sure.
Okay. Mr. A worked 6 hours last week as a lorry driver. He's employed. Mr. B lost a job as a secretary 3 months ago. Every week she visits an employment agency to try to find a new job, which she would be able to start immediately. She's unemployed, but she's economically active. Okay. Miss C looks after her 1-year-old son. She neither owns a job nor wants a job. She's economically inactive. Mr. D has no job from which he receives any pay or profit. However, he helps his parents shop for around 20 hours per week. His employment. Mrs. E is currently receiving training at a local hairdresser. This is being partly paid for by the government. She works 28 hours a week and goes to college for 1 day. She's in employment. Mr. F is out of work but stopped looking for a new job a year ago, and she does not believe any jobs are available. She's economically inactive. Clear? So that means Miss F economically inactive because she doesn't want to find a job anymore. You go down. Types of unemployment. We started with cyclical or demand deficient unemployment. For cyclical, we said it's linked to the economic cycle. When an economy moves from a bottom into a downturn, a bump into a downturn, business activity slow down and people are laid off. This will continue and worsen if the economy goes into a recession or depression. People lose their jobs because demand for goods and services starts to fall. Firms often react to falling demand by laying off staff. Then this is called cyclical. So for cyclical unemployment, it always happens when there's downturn.
Yeah.
So when there's downturn, based on a business cycle, whenever there's downturn comes after boom. So during boom, there's inflation. That's the end of boom. There's always a price rise.
Yeah.
As a result of that, demand will start falling because people do not have much. They don't have money to buy what they used to buy. So economic activity will start reducing. Firms will not be making revenue as they used to make. That is downturn. So as this thing happens, prices will start falling. As soon as prices start falling, revenue will be reduced for firms. Firms will not be able to pay workers as they used to pay. Then they don't have any other choice than to lay off workers. This is what cyclical unemployment will bring about. Is it clear? So cyclical is about a fall in aggregate demand. Any question about that? Structural unemployment. For structural unemployment, it is linked to changes in the situation of the economy itself. The economy is a structure. So something has happened within our economy. So what has happened? Oh, we used to export and we are unable to export anymore. Or we used to import things and we are unable to import things. Or we used to send our expatriates, or we used to send our workers out to a country, but we are unable to send them anymore. Or we used to export oil, we are unable to export oil anymore. Something has happened to our structure. So that brings about unemployment. That is structural unemployment. But let's read anyway. Over a period of time, the structure of an economy changes. For example, in most developed countries over time, the manufacturing sector declines and the service sector grows. Changes in the structure of the economy can result in structural unemployment. So there are three main types of structural unemployment. So the first one is sectorial unemployment, which occurs when people are laid off because the industry they work is in decline. So for sectorial, oh, maybe we are working in the, let's say we are working in the, we can't use education anyway, because the education sector is continuous. Let's take example of the manufacturing sector, the secondary sector within the economy. So if there's deindustrialization, so okay, let's say for the primary sector now, the primary sector involves in extraction, yes or no? So if there's decline in resources, in raw materials, the secondary sector the primary sector would finish. As a result of that, those that are employed in the primary sector would not have a job anymore. So that is structural unemployment. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Clear? Technological unemployment, which is another structural unemployment. This is as a result of workers being replaced with equipment. So technology has taken over. So the labor are not working anymore because machines are replacing them. That is another structural unemployment. Clear? Then we have regional unemployment. For regional unemployment, these are caused when in certain area there's decline in production or there's decline in demand, which brings about unemployment in that area. So economic activity there's decline in economic activity in that area. As a result of that, there are job loss over there. That is regional. Is it clear? Then we have seasonal unemployment. Seasonal unemployment, I think you know that already. For seasonal unemployment, it means that in a certain period within the year, people do not have jobs. So as soon as the season comes, within that period of a time in that year, they won't have a job. That is seasonal unemployment. Clear?
Yes.
For voluntary unemployment, here people choose not to work. They don't even want to work at all. They rely on government benefits. That's voluntary unemployment. Is it clear? Then we have frictional. For frictional, we call it temporary. It's frictional or temporary unemployment.
Like a short term?
unemployment within a short period. So we call it frictional or temporary. So temporary unemployment is unemployment in between when you are leaving a job to seek for a new one. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That the period between you leaving a job for a new job, that period between it is called frictional unemployment or temporary unemployment.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Impact of unemployment. So what are the impacts of unemployment to one output? If people are unemployed, the productive potential of a country is not being fully exploited. So which means the production capacity, the productive potential or production capacity of that country will not increase. So that means unemployment will bring about less output. So output will be less, or output will not increase within the economy. Is it clear? So here they said, okay, let me just read anyway. If people are unemployed, the productive potential of the country is not being fully exploited. As a result, levels of output are lower than they could be. This means that national income and the living standards will be lower. However, if most of the unemployment is as a result of new technology being introduced, output might not fall. Output could actually increase if productivity rises. So, we could, if it is technological unemployment, output will definitely increase. The point is, output would fall if unemployment happens without technology. Do you get the point I'm making there? If people are not getting jobs and they are not being replaced with equipment, output will fall.
Yeah.
But if people are being replaced with technology that brings about unemployment, technological unemployment, output will rise because there will be efficiency and productivity with the use of equipment. Do you understand?
Yes.
But generally, unemployment would represent a fall in level of output. Is it clear? Use of scarce resources. People who are out of work do not make any contribution to production. This is a waste of resources and results in lower levels of national income. If there is full employment in the economy, output will be higher and income per head will be higher. In some countries, youth unemployment is very high. Many consider that this is particularly wasteful. Use of scarce resources. So when there's unemployment, when unemployment is increasing within the economy, it means some resources are not used. You get it? So if resources are not used, what happens afterwards? The income level within the economy would fall. People will be considered waste. They are not doing anything. They are not contributing to the economy. So the scarce resources that are supposed to be used are just there without being used. Is it clear? Poverty. Excuse me, please. Poverty. When we talk about poverty, it means the inability of people to be able to afford the basic needs. That is poverty. So, if there's unemployment will bring about increasing poverty because people don't have money. It is only when you are employed that you have income. So poverty, unemployment increases poverty. That's what the point is. Let's see. They said in some developing countries, many people have never worked in their lives. They have never been any employment opportunities for them. As a result, they have to live in poverty. They may try to support themselves at a minimum level by growing some food on a plot of land, for example. Even in developed countries, most people who find themselves without a job have to suffer hardship. Their incomes fall because state benefits are generally lower than wages. In extreme cases, unemployed people lose their homes because they cannot afford mortgage payments. Sometimes the cost can extend to family breakups and a low self-confidence for those who are long-term unemployed. Unemployment will increase poverty. That is the point. Clear? Government spending on benefits. In most developed countries, when people are unemployed, they are entitled to receive some financial benefits. We call it social benefits. If unemployment levels rise, the government has to allocate more money onto unemployment benefits. This extra expenditure will incur an opportunity cost. For example, the money could be better spent on education or healthcare. So if unemployment continues to rise over time, government would have to spend on social benefits. That means government expenditure will increase. There's opportunity cost. The amount spent on social benefit of unemployment would have been rather spent on infrastructure, healthcare, or education. Is the point clear? Tax tax revenue. When unemployment rises, tax revenue will fall because most taxes are linked to income and spending. This means the government has less to spend and may have to cut public sector services. Alternatively, it may borrow more, which will increase national debt, or it may have to increase tax rates. For example, taxes on incomes, corporate profits, and spending may have to rise. When there's unemployment, tax revenue would fall because tax is always linked to income and spending. So people they don't even have income. How do they pay income tax? Because they don't even have income, they're not even going to spend. So value-added tax will not be there. So taxes on consumption will fall, taxes on income will fall, taxes on profit will fall. So that means government would get less in terms of tax revenue. As a result of that, government might need to borrow externally from foreign countries to be able to finance public spending. And that increases the national debt. Clear. Consumer confidence. During periods of high unemployment, consumer confidence is likely to fall. Most people who find themselves without a job have to suffer hardship. Their incomes fall because state benefits are generally lower. Their confidence is also negatively affected. They become more cautious, which will result in lower levels of spending and probably more unemployment. When there's unemployment, an unemployed person does not have confidence. So low self-esteem. He or she will feel is not relevant in the society. And if this continues for a long period of time, he becomes or she becomes unemployable because he would have lost skills, knowledge needed for the present job. This is what consumer confidence is. So there won't be an opportunity to spend because there's no money to buy. Clear. Business confidence. When firms lay off workers, they have to pay them redundancy money. Also, the many workers may be demotivated because they may fear that they will be next to be made redundant. A firm will be left with spare capacity when laying people off, and there is likely to be a fall in demand. Sales are likely to fall for most businesses when unemployment starts to rise in the economy. This is because people have less to spend. However, firms producing non-essential goods and services are likely to be hit harder. All these effects are likely to reduce the confidence of business decision makers. As a result, they are less likely to take risks and may postpone or cancel investment projects. When unemployment increases within the economy, it starts taking its toll on businesses. How? Because unemployment represents less of a fall in income. People would not have so much money like they used to have. Yes or no? So firms will not have any other choice than to lay off workers because they are not making revenue as they used to make. Laying off worker will make them redundant. You have to pay them redundancy money too. So this represents certain costs for firms. Firms will definitely stop investment. So business decision makers would not have that confidence to continue investment. That is all what will happen. So whatever investment project they have will put an hold onto it. Is it clear? Business confidence will fall because revenue would have fallen. Workers that are laid off will continue to increase the unemployment within the economy. So unemployment is increasing in the economy. It's going to affect all businesses. So the businesses would not be able to invest more because how do they want to invest when there's no return on their investment? Clear? The society at large. For the society, unemployment will bring about social vices, crime, vandalism, and a lot of things like that. Sometimes unemployment can have an impact on local communities. For example, in some towns and villages, the large portion of population will be employed by the same business. If business closes down, local unemployment can be very high indeed. As a result, the spirit in many of these communities worsen. Such areas become run down. Smaller businesses start to struggle and fail because their customers are suffering hardship. Households do not have enough money to maintain their houses and gardens, and the residential environment starts to look uncared for. There may also be an impact on the wider society. For example, losing a job can be psychologically hard on workers. Individuals may doubt their values as a person. This can lead to stress within the relationship. Unemployed people are less likely to get married and more likely to get divorced. as their lack of work raises stress level. Stress can also lead to poor health. Finally, unemployment can potentially lead to crime. The unemployed still need the necessities of life. In some cases, they may turn into crime to meet their material needs. Yeah. So this is what unemployment will bring about. We move down. Oh, case study. Question 1, please.
Which of the following refers to people out of work or moving between jobs? A. Seasonal unemployment. B. Frictional unemployment. C. Voluntary unemployment. D. Structural unemployment. B.
Fictional. Great.
Yes.
Question 2.
Which of the positions illustrates that the country has unemployment? A. Position W. B. Position X. C. Position Y. D. Position Z. W.
W. Because W represents
inward. Yeah, inward.
Unemployed resources.
Yeah.
The answer is A. Clear.
Right.
That ends unemployment.